Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something, well, maybe a bit unexpected, but really crucial for so many places. The forklift.
Right. It sounds simple, doesn't it? A forklift. But when you actually look into it.
Exactly. The sheer variety is kind of staggering. You've got
Yeah.
LPG, diesel, lithium-ion, electric. It's easy to get lost.
Uh-huh. And picking the wrong one, that can really impact how things get done.
So our mission today is to, cut through that confusion. We'll break down these main types,
And figure out the key things you need to think about.
helping you make a smarter choice for whatever job you have in mind. Because honestly, digging into the material, what jumped out was just how different they all are.
Absolutely. Each one has its own specific strengths and weaknesses.
By the end of this, the goal is for you to have a clear framework.
Yeah, a way to weigh the power source, the environmental side, the cost,
Hmm.
all for your specific situation. We want you to see past the basics.
And find the real workhorse you need. Okay, let's dive in. First up, LPG forklifts.
LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. These are pretty common, right?
Very common. Known for being reliable, tough. And often, the initial cost is lower than some of the others.
Okay, so maybe more accessible up front.
Yeah, but the really interesting bit is their versatility. They work both indoors and outdoors.
Ah, okay. So one machine might cover different zones?
Exactly. Think about warehouse aisles, then out to the loading dock. Same machine.
You could simplify things. Training, maybe?
Could do, yeah. Less need for operators to learn totally different machines. Plus, refueling is quick, like minutes.
Faster than charging an electric one, for sure.
And parts are usually easy to find because they're so widespread.
Okay, sounds pretty good. What's the catch?
Well, you definitely need proper training for safe operation. That's crucial.
Standard for any heavy equipment, really.
True. And the fuel costs?
Hmm.
They can bounce around a bit. Petrol prices fluctuate.
Right, so there's some unpredictability there compared to, say, electricity costs, which might be more stable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that flexibility, the indoor-outdoor thing,
Yeah.
that's a huge practical benefit.
It really is. It's not just the purchase price. It's that operational agility, avoiding maybe needing a whole separate machine for outside.
Uh-huh. That can add up to real savings, especially if your operations are mixed or the budget's tight initially.
So LPG is kind of the versatile middle ground. What about the other end of the spectrum, the real heavy hitters?
Okay, now we're talking diesel. If you think heavy-duty, massive projects,
That's where diesel comes in.
totally. These are built tough, huge weight capacity, and they are made to handle pretty much any weather. Rain, cold, doesn't matter.
Right, so definitely geared towards outdoor work, construction sites, lumber yards.
Exactly. Places like that, they have serious pulling power, much more than propane or electric typically.
And they're surprisingly quick, too, right? Not slow despite the power.
Yeah, they don't really sacrifice speed. Plus, for their size and power, they're actually pretty decent on fuel consumption. Good value there.
Okay, power, durability, weather resistance. Sounds great for tough outdoor jobs. But there's a big but, isn't there?
Oh yeah, a big one. Emissions. They produce fumes.
Which means
Absolutely no good for indoor use, period. It's a non-starter.
health hazard, air quality, all that.
Right. And they tend to be bulkier and definitely noisier than the other types,
So it's that classic trade-off. You get immense power and outdoor toughness.
but you pay for it in terms of environmental impact and indoor limitations.
They're indispensable in certain settings, like ports or big industrial yards where fumes can dissipate and noise isn't the top concern.
Understanding why they're restricted indoors is key, though. Safety and compliance.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears. What about the newer tech? Lithium-ion.
Right, Li-ion. Definitely the more modern energy-focused option, making big waves.
What's the main draw there?
Energy efficiency, big time. The
Ah.
batteries last way longer, like 4 times longer than the old lead-acid types you find in some electrics.
4 times. Wow, that's significant. Less downtime for charging.
Exactly. And the charging itself is super fast, often under 2 hours ready to go.
Okay, that's a huge difference compared to traditional electrics needing hours.
Big difference. Safety's another plus. The battery's completely sealed. No leaks, no spills.
Good for the operator, good for the environment.
Yep. Now, the initial cost is higher. That's the main hurdle.
The sticker shock factor.
Right. But the argument is you save money long term because they're so efficient and need less maintenance,
So it's an investment. You pay more upfront.
but potentially lower operating costs over the life of the machine.
That higher initial cost,
Yeah,
it can make people pause, right?
for sure. But you have to look at the total cost of ownership.
Right. That extended battery life, the fast charging, the safety, that all means less downtime, lower energy bills, maybe less maintenance hassle.
These aren't small things. They boost productivity.
So what seems expensive at first might actually be the smarter financial move over several years. It's about calculating that total cost.
Definitely something to consider. Okay, and finally, the standard electric forklift, also battery-powered, but maybe different from Li-on.
Yeah, often using the more traditional lead-acid batteries, though Li-on is becoming an option here too. But the key thing is they're engine-free.
And that makes them perfect for indoors, right? No gas, no fumes.
Exactly, that's their primary zone, and they're much quieter than anything with an engine.
Big plus in warehouses, retail backrooms, places where noise is an issue.
Definitely. They also tend to be a bit smaller, more compact.
So better for tight spaces, maneuverability.
Generally, yes. Easier to navigate narrow aisles, and they're usually pretty straightforward to operate, good for different skill levels.
Okay. And long-term costs.
Lower operating costs than engine models because, well, no engine maintenance, no fuel.
Makes sense. What are the downsides then?
Well, they're not really built for rugged outdoor use. They don't handle weather like a diesel.
Okay, so primarily indoor machines.
Right, and maybe not ideal for super intense heavy-duty cycles constantly. Pushing them hard might mean needing bigger batteries or more frequent charging.
Which takes time. Hours, potentially. Not like a quick LPG refuel.
Exactly. Charging time is a factor. And while maintenance is lower overall, you do have battery costs, charging equipment.
So the initial outlay, including extra batteries or charging stations, can sometimes be more than, say, an LPG model at first.
It can be, yeah. You need to factor in that supporting infrastructure.
But the quiet, emission-free operation is why they dominate indoor environments.
Absolutely. Think food processing, pharma, anywhere, air quality and low noise are critical.
It's about matching the tool to the place. Easy to use indoors, but limited for heavy outdoor work.
Precisely. A clear trade-off.
Okay, so we've got these 4 distinct types: LPG, diesel, Li-on, electric. With all that info, how do you, the listener, actually choose?
It really boils down to asking yourself some core questions about your specific needs. The sources we looked at point to a few key areas.
First one seems to be about the job itself. Easier tasks versus harder tasks.
Right. What are you actually lifting and moving? How heavy? How often?
For the lighter stuff, smaller projects, the recommendation seems to be electric or LPG. Their size and maneuverability help.
Makes sense. But for the really tough, heavy, demanding jobs.
That's where diesel comes back in. Their size, power, and durability are built for that.
So this raises a really important point. How well can you predict your workload?
Yeah. If you get something too small for the job,
You end up with inefficiency, maybe breakdowns. Underestimating the intensity is a common pitfall. You need to think long-term needs, not just today's task.
good point. Okay, next big question. Indoor versus outdoor. This feels fundamental.
Absolutely critical. Where will the forklift spend most of its time?
If it's mostly indoors, the answer seems pretty clear. Electric.
Yeah, maneuverable, quiet, emission-free, checks all the indoor boxes.
But if you're primarily working outside, dealing with weather, uneven ground maybe.
Then diesel is built for that. They're designed to withstand the elements.
Okay, but what if you need both? Operations that shift between inside and out.
That's where LPG really shines again. Remember that versatility.
Right. Suited for both indoor and outdoor. Quieter than diesel, still maneuverable like electric. Kind of a hybrid solution.
It is. And this choice, indoor versus outdoor, it really reflects the core nature of your operation.
It impacts everything, doesn't it? Safety rules, ventilation needs, even the power setup you need.
It's a foundational decision. It shapes your whole operational footprint.
Okay, let's talk money. Initial costs versus long-term costs.
Yeah.
Always a big factor.
Always. And there are 2 angles here. First, the upfront price tag.
And generally, Li-on and electric are more expensive to buy initially than diesel or LPG.
That's the typical starting point, yeah. But then you have to look down the road.
Long-term savings. That's where Li-on stands out.
Mm.
Long battery life, low maintenance.
Exactly. And standard electric also tends to have lower maintenance needs than LPG and diesel because there's no engine.
Even if you factor in battery replacements eventually.
Often, yes. Especially compared to ongoing engine upkeep, fuel costs. Diesel and LPG maintenance might seem steady at first, but likely increases as they age.
So just looking at the purchase price can be misleading.
Hugely misleading. It can be a costly mistake. Those ongoing costs, fuel, maintenance, battery life, fuel, they really change the economic picture over years.
So that higher initial price for Li-on or electric might actually be cheaper in the long run.
Often, yes. It's the total cost of ownership that matters. What seems pricey upfront can turn into a smarter long-term investment.
Okay, another way to slice this. Battery-powered versus engine-powered. It's a basic design choice.
Right. Beyond the specific fuel or battery type, it's electric motor versus internal combustion engine. What are the big differences there?
Well, noise is an obvious one. Battery lifts are generally much quieter.
True. But it goes deeper than just noise, doesn't it?
Yeah, think about maintenance. Engine tune-ups, oil changes, filters.
Yeah.
Versus managing battery charging, maybe checking water levels and lead-acid batteries.
Completely different routines and skill sets needed.
And operational needs. Fuel storage and delivery for engines versus charging stations and electrical capacity for batteries.
Plus the environmental aspect we keep touching on. It's a fundamental difference in how the machine operates and what it requires.
Which brings us neatly to the final factor, environmental impact.
Yeah,
Increasingly important for many.
definitely. And the sources give a pretty clear ranking here.
Li-on comes out on top as the most eco-friendly, zero operational emissions.
Followed by standard electric. Also, zero tailpipe emissions, though the electricity generation itself might have an impact, depending on the source.
Okay, then LPG.
Moderately friendly, better than diesel, but still burns fossil fuel and produces emissions.
At the bottom of the list.
Diesel. Significant emissions, which, again, is exactly why they are not suitable for indoor use. It keeps coming back to that.
So as businesses focus more on sustainability,
This environmental ranking becomes a bigger and bigger factor. It's not just about preference anymore. It can be about regulations, corporate responsibility, even brand image.
it raises a bigger question. How will this push for sustainability change not just equipment choices, but maybe entire supply chains and how companies operate?
It's a major trend reshaping industries. Eco-friendliness is becoming a core business metric.
So wrapping this up, we've covered a lot of ground. LPG, diesel, Li-on, electric.
We've looked at their strengths, weaknesses, the key questions to ask yourself. Task intensity, indoor-outdoor, costs, power source, environment.
It's clear that picking a forklift isn't just picking a machine. It's about matching a very specific tool to your unique job and workplace.
And considering all these factors together, not just one or two,
Hopefully you now feel like you have a solid framework. You know the right questions to ask.
you can evaluate the options more effectively, get past the jargon, and understand what really matters for your specific needs.
So what did this all mean for you? We've focused on forklifts, sure. But step back for a second. Think about how often we make big purchases for work, even for home, without really thinking through the whole life cycle.
The long-term costs, the actual best fit for how we'll use it.
Instead of just, the appealing features right up front or the lowest initial price, this deep dive into something like forklifts really highlights how complex, seemingly simple choices can be.
It really does. And that core principle, matching the right tool to the task, understanding all the implications, economic, operational, environmental, that goes way beyond forklifts.
Yeah.
It encourages a more thoughtful, strategic way of solving problems really in almost any part of life or business, thinking things through fully.